Hello, friends. Now I want to study about the topic that is, what are the different methods available to reduce shifting of cargoes? To reduce the shifting of cargo while loading, proper stowage method it is mandatory. Let's see. Stow compactly and evenly to avoid void spaces. Lower the ship's center of gravity by stowing heavy cargo in lower side. Trim cargo level and avoid peaked or conical stowage. Use block stowage so cargo units support each other. Fill spaces to prevent movement, that is tight stow. Securing and restraining method. Lashing with wires, chains, ropes, web lashings. Shoring, that is timber shores or steel supports. Chocking to prevent free movement towards fore and aft or athwart ship movement. Wedges and toming between cargo and ship's structure. Done is to increase friction and distribute weight. Cargo nets and strapping for packaged cargo. Securing to strong points provide in cargo space. Use of cargo securing devices. Twist locks, lashing rods, turnbuckles. These are useful for containers. Pallet locks and anti-slip nets. Cargo Securing Manual CSM followed as per SOLAS. Special cargo measures. Grain shifting boards or saucers for bulk grain. Bagged grain cargo. Storage with proper interlock pattern. Bulk cargo trimming to reduce free surface effect. Use of separation bulkheads where required. Ship stability and operational measures. Maintain adequate GM. Avoid excessive or very low GM. Avoid slack tanks to reduce free surface effect. Ballast management to maintain stability. Weather routing and speed reduction in heavy seas. Avoid sudden sharp alteration of course. Inspection and monitoring. Regular inspection of lashings during voyages. Retightening lashings as required. Monitoring cargo condition, especially in rough weather. Now, hello. Now I want to study the topic securing methods for grain cargo. The securing methods for grain cargo depend on whether the compartment is fully filled or partially filled. Different techniques are employed to prevent shifting depending on cargo's level in the compartment. Securing methods in fully filled compartment. In fully filled compartments, the grain is typically loaded to the top of the hold, leaving little to no room for movement. However, securing measures are still required to ensure that the grain is properly compact and restrained. Tightly packed bulkheads in fully filled compartment, the grain should be loaded against the fixed or portable bulkheads. The top of the grain may be covered with tarpaulins or canvas to minimize shifting. Horizontal lashings. For additional security, horizontal steel wire ropes or chains can be laid across the top of the grain surface and anchored to the side of the hold. These lashings help prevent vertical displacement of the cargo. Now, securing methods for partially filled compartments. Partially filled compartments pose a great risk of grain shifting as there is more space for grain to move within the hold. Therefore, additional securing measures are required. Portable bulkheads. In partially filled compartments, portable bulkheads are often used to confine the grain. These bulkheads are made of wooden planks or steel panels and are reinforced with wire ropes, chains, or steel struts. Reinforcement of bulkheads. The portable bulkheads must be reinforced by securing them with steel wire ropes or chains connected to a strong point on the ship's structure. Turnbuckles may be used to tighten and adjust the tension on these lashings. Bagged grain on separation bags. Sometimes bagged grain or separation bags filled with sawdust or similar material are placed on top of the grain to limit movement. These bags act as an additional barrier, helping to prevent the grain from shifting laterally. Overstowing. In some cases, overstowing is done by placing another type of cargo, such as timber, on the top of the grain to create pressure and prevent it from shifting. This method requires proper separation and securing to avoid damaging the grain. Lashing across the grain surface. In partially filled compartments, horizontal lashings are used more extensively across the surface of the grain. These lashings are typically made of steel wire ropes and are tensioned with turnbuckles. They help securing the grain and prevent horizontal movement. Now, strapping and bracing. Cross strapping. In some cases, cross strapping forming an X pattern can be applied across the grain surface to further prevent movement in multiple directions. This method is used primarily in partially filled compartments. Wooden shoring. Wooden shoring may be used to brace the grain bulkheads or to create divisions within the hole. The shoring prevents excessive lateral movement and support the bulkheads. Use of dunnage. Dunnage layers. Dunnage is placed on the floor and against the side of the cargo hold to create a buffer button between the ship's structure and the grain. It helps to distribute the weight of cargo and minimizes friction that could lead to shifting. Wooden barriers. Wooden barriers may also be placed vertically within the grain to act as separators and limit movement. These barriers are secured using lashings and struts to hold them in place. Now, general securing principles as per grain code. The purpose of securing grain cargo in the cargo holds is to prevent shifting of cargo due to vessel's motion, which can cause dangers and loss of stability and angle of heel. The general securing principles prescribed in the grain code are as follows: filling of cargo space. Grain space should be filled as compactly as possible to reduce the free surface effect. If full loading is not possible, the void space must be properly secured. Trimming of grains. Grain shall be well trimmed to the boundaries of the compartment. All peaks, ridges, and pockets must be eliminated. Proper trimming reduces the possibility of grain flowing to one side. Securing of partially filled compartments. When grain is carried in a partially filled compartment, one of the following methods must be used: shifting boards, saucering, overstowing with bagged grain or other suitable cargo. Shifting boards. Shifting boards should be fitted fore and aft in the center line of the compartment. They must extend from tank top to the underside of the deck or hatch cover. Shifting board should be strong, tight, and secure supported. Use of fenders or trunks. Centerline fenders or trunks are effective for reducing grain shift. Fenders must be substantially constructed and securely fixed. Securing of hatch covers. Hatch covers must be watertight and properly secured. No ingress of water should be allowed, as wet grain may soil and shift. Stability requirements. The ship must comply with the intact stability criteria of grain code. Grain heeling moment must be calculated and verified before sailing. Prevention of water entry. Bilges should be clean and dry. Sounding pipes and ventilation must be grain tight. Documentation and certification. A valid document of authorization, that is DOA, must be on board. Loading must be carried out according to the approved grain loading plan. Now, the general securing principle under the grain code aims to minimize cargo shift by proper filling, trimming, use of shifting devices, and compliance with the stability criteria.